on the search for Malaysia Airlines Flight 370.
Two objects possibly belonging to that missing flight, MH370.
What if we told you the mystery of Malaysian Flight 370 just got a whole lot weirder? That's right. After years of endless speculation, wild theories, and late-night Reddit rabbit holes, researchers have uncovered a shocking new finding that might just change everything we thought we knew. Could this discovery finally unravel the greatest aviation mystery of our time? Or are we about to dive even deeper into the unknown? The mysterious disappearance of MH370. What should have been a routine 6-hour flight turned into one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of our time. At the controls was Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah, a seasoned pilot with a whopping 18,365 flying hours under his belt. The guy lived for aviation, regularly sharing his passion with anyone who would listen. Beside him sat First Officer Farik Abdul Hamid, just 27 years old, logging his 2,763 flying hours. For Farik, this flight was meant to be another notch on his training belt. Little did anyone know it would tragically be his last. The flight took off smoothly, going into the night sky from runway 32R. Everything seemed normal until the plane reached 35,000 feet. After a routine check-in with Kuala Lumpur Air Traffic Control, MH370 was handed off to Ho Chi Minh's controllers. Now, the only conversation they had with air traffic control turned out to be their last. And that was Captain Zahari's simple goodnight message on the radio. But you know that it was far from anything simple. In fact, this was just the beginning of a mind-boggling mystery. Moments later, the plane's car system, an important link between the aircraft and ground control, went dark. This wasn't merely a technical fault. It felt like a scene ripped straight from a thriller. Just imagine flipping off the lights in a crowded theater and a complete chaos erupts. Honestly, what could possibly drive someone to deliberately disable the CR system? But the surprises didn't stop there. As air traffic controllers scrambled to piece together the puzzle, they realized the plane's transponder, another vital communication tool, had also gone silent. Now the aircraft was practically invisible, flying blind with no one having a clue where it was headed. As experts desperately sought answers, hoping for a miracle to bring the situation under control, the mystery deepened even further. This wasn't just a plane going missing. It was a nightmare unfolding, unraveling one terrifying layer at a time. As if this wasn't already creepy enough, then came the static noise. When a nearby pilot tried contacting MH370 via a distress frequency, all that was heard was garbled sounds, muffled and indistinguishable, adding a thick layer of dread to the situation. Soon after, the unthinkable happened. The Malaysian military's radar lost all trace of the plane over the Andaman Sea. Just like that, MH370 had vanished. After a few hours of trying to connect, it was revealed that the aircraft entered Vietnamese airspace, and something strange happened. It deviated from its course. Instead of continuing its path, MH370 turned back, zigzagging across the Malay Peninsula before heading northwest over the Strait of Malacca. Why? What caused the plane to veer off so drastically? Was it a technical failure, a deliberate act, or something else entirely? No one had a clue, and the strange silence that followed only increased the tension. Of course, this chilling revelation sent waves of panic through Malaysia Airlines, air traffic control, and search teams alike. Desperate calls were made to neighboring planes, hoping for even the smallest shred of information. But the worst part? The clock was ticking, and there was nothing but silence. As search efforts ramped up, the focus shifted to the South China Sea and Gulf of Thailand, the last known coordinates. But there were no signs. Now, hope hung on eyewitness accounts. One fisherman claimed he saw a plane flying unusually low, a sight strange enough to alarm him. Meanwhile, an oil rig worker reported seeing something on fire in the sky. Could this be the clue they needed? Were these strange sightings the key to unlocking the truth? Well, instead of getting solved, the plot continued to get thicker with every passing moment. An endless search unfolds. The new development in the case was the account of Indonesian fishermen who swore they saw something fall from the sky. Then, a British woman, months later, reported witnessing a plane completely engulfed in flames as she sailed across the Indian Ocean. These claims only fueled the growing confusion, adding another layer of fear and mystery to the already baffling disappearance of Flight MH370. The varying details from these eyewitnesses painted a haunting picture, but each story pointed to something extraordinary happening that night. But what was it? As time passed, the investigation took an even more alarming turn. Satellite data from the plane kept hinting that MH370 continued to fly for hours after its radar disappearance. It was as if the plane was sending cryptic, indirect messages to the world. Then came a breakthrough from a British company, Inmarsat, which brought a glimmer of hope to the investigation. What was this breakthrough, and could it finally unlock the mystery? The company revealed that, shockingly, flight MH370 had been sending faint signals, or pings, to one of its satellites for 7 hours after going dark. Though the signals were weak, they were enough for investigators to trace the plane's approximate path. Using an advanced technique called burst timing offset, experts mapped out the potential distance of the aircraft based on these signals. And here's where things took an even weirder turn. The plane, it turned out, had been on autopilot, cruising at around 30,000 feet for hours before plunging into the vast, icy depths of the Indian Ocean. But why was it on autopilot, and what caused the final plunge? That part of the mystery remains unsolved. Still, their data suggested two possible paths, one toward the desolate southern Indian Ocean, and another heading north from Vietnam toward Turkmenistan. This was when things really got complicated. You see, the northern route was quickly dismissed, as countries in that region, Thailand, Kazakhstan, and others, had military radar systems so tight that they surely would have detected any unidentified aircraft. So with the northern path ruled out, where was the plane? All eyes turned to the southern side, an area so vast and remote, it made the search feel like trying to find a needle in a sea. Still, the search for the plane started. The search zones were divided. One stretched across the endless Indian Ocean, while the other spanned parts of Southeast Asia, China, and the Indian subcontinent. But would any of these routes lead to real answers? Time would have the ultimate answer. On March 24, 2014, Malaysia's Prime Minister, Najib Razak, dropped a heartbreaking bombshell. After a careful analysis of the final satellite signals, experts concluded that the plane's journey ended deep in the southern Indian Ocean. There were no safe landing sites in that barren stretch of ocean. This grim announcement meant only one thing: the plane and the 239 souls on board likely met their fate in the sea. But here's the chilling part. That wasn't the worst of it. At the time, this disaster marked the deadliest incident involving a Boeing 777, holding that dreadful record for 131 days. Then, as if the universe hadn't inflicted enough tragedy on Malaysia Airlines, Flight 17, a Boeing 777-200ER, was shot down on July 17, 2014, taking the lives of 298 people. Yes, you heard that right. One catastrophe was soon eclipsed by another. But hold on, the mystery of Flight 370 didn't fade with time. Instead, each new clue brought more questions, and one looming thought remained. What truly happened to MH370? New clues for Flight 370's search. On April 6, 2014, an Australian ship caught what seemed like faint signals from the plane's black box, far off the coast of Perth, Western Australia. With satellite data pointing to the same area, it felt like a major breakthrough was just around the corner. But the plot thickened. When an underwater robot was sent down to investigate, things got complicated. Were the signals real or just a technical fault? Well, the search dragged on, and despite the robot's efforts, nothing was found. By June 2015, hope was beginning to fade. But then, on July 29, 2015, the world was shaken again. A flaperon, part of the right wing, was found washed up on the shores of a remote island. Could this be the key to unlocking the mystery? This tiny clue led to an 18-month treasure hunt, where more pieces of debris popped up on beaches as far-flung as Tanzania, Mozambique, Madagascar, and South Africa. Out of 26 discovered items, 3 were confirmed as pieces of the missing plane. The debris suggested the plane had broken apart, but one question lingered. Did it break up mid-air or during a deadly crash into the sea? One thing was clear: the plane had a tragic ending. Further studies of the debris, particularly parts of the wing, indicated that MH370 probably didn't have a gentle water landing. Some experts propose that the plane plunged dramatically into the ocean, nose first, in a steep dive. By 2017, after nearly 3 grueling years of searching, the official efforts were called off. Still, Ocean Infinity, a U.S. company, picked up where others left off. Despite their high-tech efforts, the ocean continued to guard its secrets, and in 2018, Malaysia officially closed the case, at least on the surface. But the mystery had another twist to serve. In 2018, Malaysia's report revealed something unsettling. The plane had likely been deliberately diverted. Could someone have been in control the entire time? This revelation fueled more speculation and set aside the idea of mechanical failure, pointing to the chilling possibility of human involvement. Amid the chaos of these new clues, a disturbing detail emerged. 2 passengers had boarded MH370 with stolen passports, one Austrian and one Italian. Interpol later confirmed these passports were flagged as missing in Thailand. Could this have been a hijacking? Malaysia's internal security minister criticized officials for allowing these individuals to board with one-way tickets. Eventually, it turned out these 2 men were Iranian asylum seekers, and the hijacking theory lost steam. But still, who was truly behind the plane's eerie disappearance? Official conclusions versus public speculation. As the dust settled, investigations into the passengers revealed no links to terrorism, though one flight engineer raised brief suspicion. Among the many swirling theories, one particularly wild idea stood out. Could Russian agents have hijacked the plane and crashed it in Kazakhstan to divert attention from the Crimean crisis? Though far-fetched, the lack of evidence on what really happened left room for even the most dramatic speculation. Another chilling theory suggested the plane hadn't crashed, based on the fact that some passengers' cell phones could still ring when called. Does this mean the plane survived the ocean's depths? Well, it did give the families a glimmer of hope for a moment, but experts were quick to clarify. Just because a phone rings doesn't mean it's connected. When you dial, the network attempts to find the phone. If it fails, the call still rings before dropping. While this explanation made sense, it couldn't erase the heartache and confusion about what truly happened. Besides this, another intriguing theory highlights the possibility that the plane was taken down by the military. According to it, the plane veered into restricted airspace over the Indian Ocean, a region patrolled by powerful navies like those of China and the US. With advanced military exercises reportedly underway on the night, the plane disappeared. Could it have been misidentified as a potential threat? Did a single deadly missile put an abrupt end to its journey? But wait, it gets even wilder. Recent satellite footage has emerged, showcasing something even more bizarre. In this video, an aircraft is cruising along peacefully when suddenly a series of strange glowing orbs appear, encircling the plane. These mysterious orbs hover around it, and then with a flash of blinding light, both the aircraft and the orbs disappear into thin air. Could this footage be the missing piece of the puzzle? The questions keep piling up. This spine-chilling footage first appeared on Reddit, posted anonymously, and ever since it hit the web, it sparked a wildfire of fear and conspiracy theories. People from all walks of life, aviation experts, casual viewers, and conspiracy buffs, were left stunned, unable to fathom what they were seeing. What were those glowing orbs? What caused that blinding flash of light? And most hauntingly, where did the plane and those strange objects vanish to? In no time, the internet came up with a strange conclusion. UFOs. Could it have been an alien abduction? It sounds outrageous, but think about it. UFO sightings, from floating discs to mysterious lights in the sky, have puzzled humanity for over a century. Each sighting seems to come with its own set of paranormal mysteries, including reports of people blanking out during encounters and tales of alien abductions. But could this time be different? Are we witnessing an actual alien hijacking? As the videos circulated online, some researchers began to dig deeper and unearthed a shocking revelation. This footage might actually be leaked satellite imagery. And here's where it gets even creepier. Several netizens have pointed out that the plane in this video has a similar structure as the Malaysian Flight 370. Of course, experts have investigated the footage, and many believe the plane's design and details align perfectly with Flight 370's characteristics. Even stranger, a news report from 2014 mentioned mysterious objects spotted near the flight path of a Malaysian airliner. Could this be the same flight? As unbelievable as it sounds, it might not be entirely far-fetched. Some ufologists have even proposed that the plane could have been abducted mid-flight while en route from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. The Malaysian government's official take doesn't entertain any of these theories. They concluded, after extensive searches, that the plane crashed somewhere in the Indian Ocean. Still, they have their suspicions on 2 individuals. You see, it's mentioned in the Chapter 5 of the official search reports that Captain Zahari was at the controls when the plane and its passengers vanished into the night. But honestly, it's strange that there was only silence on the board despite the plane being in a critical situation. I mean, in today's hyper-connected world, it's almost impossible to imagine not a single passenger sent a message, made a call, or posted on social media once the flight veered off course. Was something preventing them from reaching out, or were they simply unable to? Most passengers on the flight were from Malaysia and China, where mobile phone use is the norm, especially during travel. So why didn't anyone try to make contact when the plane changed course? Were they at an altitude too high for cell towers to pick up? Or was something else preventing them from reaching out? Some believe the aircraft's odd altitude shifts, from 45,000 feet down to 23,000 feet, may have played a role in blocking phone signals. But does that fully explain why not one call went through, or even no one tried to make any noise during such a dangerous situation? After all, there was only pin-drop silence from their side. So yeah, every clue deepened the mystery, leaving experts and the world baffled. Now, after the passengers, the investigations turned to the pilots on the helm. A month after the plane's disappearance, Malaysia's police chief revealed that they had interviewed over 170 people, including the families and colleagues of the pilots and crew. All eyes turned to Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah. Could the beloved pilot have orchestrated this tragedy for personal reasons? Disturbing theories emerged, suggesting that Captain Zahari may have locked the co-pilot out of the cockpit, disabled communication systems, and even altered the cabin environment to make it uninhabitable. But why? What drove him to do this, if at all? Investigators looked deeper into his personal life, discovering he was a family man living in a comfortable neighborhood with 2 homes. As more details emerged, the questions only multiplied. In his home, Captain Zahari had a flight simulator he used frequently. When investigators searched it, they uncovered a saved route strangely similar to Flight 370's doomed path. This route led deep into the Southern Ocean, even simulating a landing on a deserted island. Although Zahari had deleted the records, experts recovered them, raising suspicions that he may have planned the tragic event. This discovery prompted investigators to dig deeper into his personal life, revealing that Zahari was going through a rough patch. His marriage was falling apart. Could this emotional turmoil have driven him to an extreme decision? Adding to the tensions, his relative Anwar Ibrahim had been sentenced to 5 years in prison just before Zahari's flight. While this painted a serious picture, Zahari's wife and friends were adamant that he wasn't struggling as much as it seemed. They believed his commitment to his family and career would have stopped him from doing something drastic. As the investigation unfolded, Kuala Lumpur police and the FBI took a closer look at Zahari's flight simulator, but found no solid evidence of hijacking plans. The focus then shifted to Farik Abdul Hamid, the co-pilot. And here's where things get strange. Farik attempted to make a phone call while flying low over Malaysia's coastline. Although the call didn't last long, it briefly connected with a cell tower in Penang State before cutting off as the plane moved out of range. But who was Farik trying to reach at such a critical moment? The authorities remained tight-lipped about this phone call, fueling wild theories. Some speculated that personal troubles may have pushed Farik into a desperate act. Did he lock himself in the cockpit and shut down the plane's systems? Was this a case of a man overwhelmed by his emotions, taking drastic measures? However, Farik's personal life painted a very different picture. He was happily engaged to fellow pilot, Captain Nadira Ramley, and excited about his upcoming wedding. Far from a man in despair, Farik seemed to be enjoying his life and career. Thanks for watching the video. So what really happened on Flight MH370? Was it a case of emotional complexity or something far more mysterious? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more exciting videos like this.